if you want to play Testament, the first thing you have to realize, these buttons, while they don't have disjoints, far S and 2S are really good buttons. Even though they don't have disjoints, they're really good at round start. They can't press anything around these ranges, and it gives you a free Gravedigger. And the free Gravedigger that you get from this will dictate what the opponent wants to do. Between all the normals that you're going to be using with Testament, I feel like the main one's going to be far S, 2S, 5K, right? 5K, because 5K actually goes pretty far. And it's one of the main normals that will go into 2D, which will let you also go into the Gravedigger stuff. So I feel like, again, far S, 2S, 5K, 2D, those are some of the buttons I would consider when playing Testament on the ground. And then 6P, anytime you see someone jump. This is probably like, it's probably one of the best 6Ps I've seen, honestly. It rivals Eno. Like, it's a pretty strong 6P. Like, it hits above Testament's head, and it hits a little bit far out too. Like, it's a really strong button. So I think 6P is really good as an anti-air, very solid. It damn well better be, because this character primarily wants to play like within the mid-range very well. As far as air normals go, Jump S is probably king. It's a really good air-to-air button, especially when you teleport off of Gravedigger. Like, Jump S is really good at being able to contest a lot of buttons in the air, and it's very active, I think. Well, not very active, but like its hitbox looks like it's very strong. Jump D is probably the next best thing too. Jump D kind of like pushes you back, so it's really strong at being able to control space like another like projectile in a way, right? I feel that's one of the main things. Even though Testament's really strong at mid-range, I feel like the next thing to talk about is like the Gravedigger stuff and the projectiles, right? I feel like in terms of the projectiles, it's a little bit of zoning, you know? Like, I feel like this, like doing Gravedigger on the ground and Tiger kneeing it is like really good, because you control the space and you basically look like you're a Morgan in a way, just without the cool fly cancel. Soul Fist, you know, like you're at least like throwing out some projectiles in the air to kind of like also prevent them from being able to actually like approach you. And then you have the Crow that also covers that range as well. You also can send the Gravedigger upward too, and that's also a very good way of deterring the opponent from jumping at you. So you have all these air normals, you have 6P, you have Gravedigger, right, the air Gravedigger, and you have Tiger Knee Gravedigger, right, which all like control the air alongside what regular Crow does, right? Like the regular Crow also can help out too, in the sense that it covers that horizontal range without a succubus up. The thing I'm mentioning about Gravedigger that's so important is the fact that it controls that much range, and it complements your normals. So in a way, it's to me like showing that the mid-range to long-range game is what Testament wants to play. That's the thing basically that I notice automatically from my time playing the character. The biggest thing is whenever you land a knockdown in the Gravedigger, I would say almost always go for the Crow. Like, if you don't know what you're doing, just always go for the Crow. It's too strong of a buff to forego. The reason why I'm saying don't even worry about like doing teleport setups or whatever the hell, right? Like, don't even worry about any of this stuff, because at the end of the day, what really matters is you getting Stain State. Stain State is so obnoxious because it now buffs your neutral. You get to convert from anything. You get to convert from anything, basically. And I think that's a really strong trait to have. Like, anything in the neutral, you see it, you immediately convert it, right? So I feel that's very strong already. And then if they block, right, you're plus. So if they block while they deal with the Stain State explosion, right, it's a true block string. They can't do anything. And I have Soul here mashing 5K. Now, of course, if they have meter, they can wire C and get rid of the Stain State. But they're spending 50 meter, and they're going to be in meter penalty for about 10 seconds. So they're not even going to build the bar back. So that's a win in my honest opinion. You're forcing their resources out of their hands so that way you can continue to pressure them or go back to neutral where your mid-range is pretty decent. Just doing Stain State is too strong. I wouldn't worry about doing any cheeky setups or anything like that. Just focus on getting Stain State and controlling the mid-range. That's way more important. I think the fourth thing that I like about Testament the most, that I think makes it very obnoxious to deal with Testament sometimes, is that once you actually like get the pressure going, so they can't press anything here, right? They can't press anything on 5K 2D because this is a frame trap. I have Soul pressing 5K. So like the thing about that is knowing that they can't press a button here on this frame trap. At the end of your frame trap, you're just gonna do a fireball. There's no reason to do anything else, right? Like, you just do a fireball and it pushes you back. If they FD, you'll take that shit too, right? So my point is, because you get pushed back this far, you're in range for all your buttons. If you have running momentum from 5K 2D already, then it guarantees the far slash, right? Whereas if you don't get the far slash. So my point is, if you're keeping up pressure and momentum, you automatically force this mind game, right? Because if I throw the fireball out, the succubus is up now, which means that I can throw out the crow and it'll be in that position, right? I could choose one of 2 or 3 options. I could choose to just send the crow, but this leaves a gap for my opponent to run in and try to attack me, right? But I could also choose to fill that gap with far slash, and then they get hit. So what happens, what that would look like, hold up. What that would look like is basically you put this on top of them, like the far slash, so they can't approach you, and then now the bird is on them, and then they're in Stain State now. So then the next button you press will lead into a combo. So they can't just haphazardly run in the moment they see you throw the crow out, right? Because you could choose not to throw the crow out, and then you place a button here and they have to worry about that, right? Now, if they choose to do nothing, then you continue your pressure. You continue your pressure and you keep them in this position. And look at the spacing. Because of this spacing right here, they now can't jump. They can't jump out, right? Because you can anti-air them, right? You can air-to-air them. And if they try to approach on the ground, your buttons are really strong in this range. So it becomes very degenerate at this point for the opponent to try to deal with here. Which makes Testament's pressure, I think, really good. I don't think it's godlike pressure, but it's enough for the opponent to have to kind of think about how they're going to approach. While what you're doing is, honestly, to me, very easy to do. It's not very hard to do this type of pressure. And then, of course, knowing that they're going to be sitting here and worried about your options because they're worried that you're going to leave a gap, that's when you start running in and you do like 2K into like 2D or 5K into 2D, or you do run up throw. You basically play a mind game. You play a mind game with the opponent, right? Or you could throw, right? You could throw afterwards. You don't actually do a button. So it's things like that that make it to where the opponent has to think about your approach on offense in the corner. And I think that's very good for Testament. Of course, the downside is this stuff, you know, it's not easy to implement. It's not like Soul where you just press a button and now they're forced in a situation where they have to guess crazy. You're kind of playing with the space and forcing your opponent to kind of make mistakes through that space, which is important. So it's kind of, you got to think more. You definitely have to think more. That's where the execution comes into play of the game plan, not necessarily execution in terms of mechanical play and etc. Right? It's more about the mind game. The fifth thing that I think is really strong about Testament, once you get 50 meter at any point, you just do the super. I'm dead ass. I'm dead ass. I'm dead ass. You just do that super. That super is really good. The reason why is you just throw it out within the mid range. It doesn't matter. And this forces the opponent to kind of think about what you're gonna do, because you throw this super out. It's like I think of it like a giant projectile, but honestly, like, it's just a physical hitting attack, right? It puts them in Stain State, and then they have to decide, oh, are they gonna Are they gonna run up and try to press a button? Are they gonna like try to jump in? What is their approach? Because you can act after this. You can act after this. It's not immediate, but you can run behind them. And then now they have to decide, are they gonna jump? Are they not gonna jump, right? And this puts stain state and stuff, you know? I don't think it's very easy for characters to deal with the super. Yeah, they could vortex underneath it, but by the time the super is done, then you just block. See, and in some cases, it even hits characters that low profile. So I think the super is mad good just to throw out, because at least you'll put something on the board that the opponent has to worry about. And if they block it, then you get one free hit that'll go into whatever pressure you have. And I think that's a very obnoxious thing for the opponent to deal with. And that's kind of one of the things that, to me, I feel saves Testament as a character. I guess an added thing, too, is we could talk about the Okazeme for a little bit. Again, I don't really want people to worry too much about the Okazeme, because to me, I don't feel like that's a strong part of Testament's game plan. I actually feel it's weak. You can use the Gravedigger to set up, like, situations with the teleport. Like that. And so you could teleport behind the Gravedigger, right? You could also press a button, and the Gravedigger will continue the combo for you. It looks something like that. That would be what you could get to extend the combo. But you don't even have to do that either. You could teleport, right? You could send the Gravedigger up like this, and it's directly above the opponent. So then what happens is you could get like a left-right situation based on the spacing of where you did 5k. Right? So that's right, that's the cross-up. That's same side, right? Depending on the spacing of 5k. So you get a left-right here, but it's very like gimmicky. It's not really like something that I would recommend doing, but these are things to kind of like consider. So it's things like this that, again, I don't think they're terrible. You could probably develop something for this in the future, or make something like this more airtight, but ultimately, like, I would just tell you, if you ever land a knockdown, like I said before, just go for the stain state. The stain state, to me, is far more valuable than any Okazeme you might try to do, because the next hit you get from a stain state usually means that they're going to die. Yup. If you get stain state, they're gonna die. That, to me, is the biggest advantage to playing this character, and why you would play this character in the first place. Anyway, I hope this video helps you guys understand Testament a little bit more. I think the character is fun, and I think the character is alright, but as far as meta defining, nah, I don't think the character is crazy like that. I think the character is good. I don't think the character is insane. My first impressions, I thought the character was straight trash. But after playing the character a little bit more, they're fun, but I don't think this character is going to defeat, like, the main meta-heavy character. If you guys like the video, let me know. Leave a thumbs up. Leave a comment down below. Are you excited for Testament? Are you going to try Testament? And, yeah, subscribe to the channel and hit the notification bell so you know when I upload more videos.